Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Nocturne Sky here from the True Craftier, and today we will be learning about how to be doing arrays, and basically what they are, the basic concept behind them. We'll be doing some single arrays and some two-dimensional arrays as well. Alright, so here I have pre-made a model, kind of a visual model of what an array is. You can think of it as basically slots that hold information. Each array has an address assigned to it, each spot on the array does. So the address here would actually be 0. Then we have 1, 2, that's not a 3, 2, 3, and 4. So this array would have a size of, this is where arrays get tricky, because this array would actually have a size of 5, since there are actually 5 slots. However, the highest address is only 4, because it starts at 0. That's the big thing to remember, is that it does start at 0. So let's go into our Eclipse here then, and kind of see how to actually do an array. We're going to go ahead and create a new project for this. Hit the wrong folder there, sorry about that. New Java project. And we're going to name this tutorial 2. Trying to put any spaces in it and make sure that your T in tutorial is capitalized. That's just a proper etiquette. Now we can make our main tutorial 2 as well. If you see here in Eclipse, the name of the class is the tab that's open. That can be really convenient, but it can also be a bit kind of frustrating because it doesn't show which project it's in. It just goes by class. So if you just have a bunch of them that say main on there, if you name your main class main, it might just get a bit annoying. So try to stick with like tutorial 1, tutorial 2. Go ahead and close that out then right there, just to get it out of the way. Alrighty, so now we are ready to start here. Don't forget to do our public, static, void, main, string, and args. I'll give you a moment here to catch up typing that out. Just remember, a lot of it might seem a bit foreign to you what it means. We'll go over this later and when we make our own classes. But just know that this is what you have to memorize to make any kind of a main class, when your main class is what you're going to be doing the majority of your, well, not maybe the majority, but it's kind of like where you're going to be accessing everything from. It's kind of like the head honcho of your program. Alright. So hopefully you should have that all typed right now, and we're going to begin by creating a new array. So there are different types of arrays. The easiest ones would be primitive arrays. So that would be things like our ints, our doubles, and our booleans, for example. So let's just start with a simple integer array. So to initiate it, you do int, then you do your brackets. Make sure that it should automatically generate a second bracket for you to close it. And let's name this array, just for fun. It's nice because array isn't a reserved string, which means that it can be used as a variable name. So we have int array. Now we're going to start by defining the array itself. So we know that it's an int array, and now we have to define how many spaces it's going to have in there. So let's just say that we're gonna mimic this. We're gonna make this in the computer right here. So we're gonna have 5 spaces. Remember, even though the addressing only goes up to 4, there are still 5 slots to be filled. It's just that arrays start at 0, as does anything with a computer. So we're gonna put 5 down, and then use a semicolon to finish off our code line. Oh, also forgot, we have to put a new in there to say that it is a new integer array. We'll go over that when we're covering more two-dimensional arrays. It has to do with server addressing and whatnot. Not server addressing, but just computer addressing and whatnot. Alright, so now we have our array defined and our array is created. So now we basically have a blank thing. So what we would be having right now is we can just open a new visualization. Save it. We'll save this as tutorial 1. Just somewhere random. Alright. Oh, I closed it. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh well. We'll figure that out later. All right, so now we're gonna have right now we have this. There we are. So now we have, now this is what, yeah, no, that's supposed to be there. Okay. So now we have, this is basically what the computer has right now. So I'll just go like this. All right. So then let's remake our blank thing here. Remember, the first one is always going to be slot 0. Then it just goes up from there. That's the biggest thing to remember, is that it starts at 0. It's kind of the hardest concept to grasp, but once you get that, it's pretty easy. Alright, so now this is what we have. This is a visual model of what the computer has created. Alright, now we can move on to filling our array. So filling an array is pretty interesting. All you have to do is go int, oh no, thing you have to do. So you do the name of the array. So here we have array, and we want to fill our first one, so we'll have it at 0. So you put the 0 in the brackets there, equals 3. Alright, so now what we have coded is the array at 0 is equal to 3. So we can go ahead and fill that in. Perfect. Let's go on here. Array at 1 is equal to 40. Why not? Just a random number there. Now let's go ahead and skip here all the way to 5 then. So, which would actually be our 4th spot. So we'll say array at address 4 is equal to 2. Alright, there we go. So we have 3, 40, and 2. We just didn't even fill these two. That's okay. So now let's go ahead and run it then. We'll just do this then. We'll do system out println array at 0. Copy and paste it in there a bit. We'll do at 1 and at 4. Alright, we'll go ahead and run it now. There we are, 3, 40, and 2. It's a pretty neat thing. This kind of opens a whole lot of possibilities you can do, though it might be a little bit useless since we don't have any way to really have a user input fill it. We'll go into user input later. We'll include that in most likely the next tutorial. Alright, so that's filling a single array. Now let's show you some mistakes that you might make. Let's say that we forgot that it starts at 0. The addressing starts at 0, and because we put new int 5, we think that the address goes up to 5. So if we were to say array at 5 is equal to 6, there we go. Well, first off, there's nothing to fill, but you're not going to get a red line because this isn't an issue with your syntax. You have perfectly fine syntax. It's just saying, like, it's not going to make sense to the computer. So we're going to have it print out the array at 5. And now this is where we're going to crash. This is what is called a runtime error. If you look at our exception there, and always read your exceptions, remember that. Always read your errors. Don't just say, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Actually take the time to read it. What's nice about Eclipse is you can actually click on your error and it will highlight the line. So it says, okay, out of bounds exception. Well, using common sense, we can just know that this is out of bounds. This means it's too high or too low. Oh, wait. Now we're going to remember we cannot use 5 because there's only 5 slots. And remember, arrays always start at 0. Alright, so that is a single dimensional array. Let me just check out our time really quickly here. Sorry. Alright, 9 minutes, 14 seconds. We can do 2-dimensional arrays as well. Alright. Oh, sorry. Caught me playing Minecraft. Alrighty here. 2-dimensional arrays. Now, 2-dimensional arrays, it can kind of be visualized by using an egg carton. You have rows and you have columns. So, we're going to just close out of this. Open up a new paint here. Now here's kind of a visual representation of what a 2-dimensional array would look like. So let's just say we have something easy. We'll have 3 rows and we'll have 3 columns, and 2 rows. Remember, these are rows, going horizontal in columns or vertical. A good way to remember that is simply just thinking about how if you've been to Washington D.C. in America, how the Lincoln Memorial has columns. They go up and down, or Greek columns always go up and down. They don't usually go horizontally. Then rows are horizontal. So a two-dimensional array simply means that there is more than one row. So simply put, let's create a two-dimensional array. Pretty easy. First we have to initialize it. So we'll have that, and we're going to put two brackets this time because one's going to fill the row, one's going to fill the column. So integer array, we'll call it 2dim, new, int. Now we have to fill these up. So let's say we're going to have 3 column spaces and 3 of these. Actually, you know what? Let's actually mimic this right here. So we want to create this. So we're going to have 2 rows and 3 columns. Perfect. Now remember, the address will still start at 0. So this right here is still, oh, my bad. This right here is still going to be 0. So we have 0, 1, and then we have 0, 1, and 2. So really, if you think about it, it's really simple. All we're creating here is a grid. That's all a two-dimensional array is just a grid. So we're going to say, let's start to fill our up a bit. So we're going to say at 0, 0, sorry, that was wrong. We have to do 2dim at 0, 0 is equal to new int. Sorry, we don't actually have to do the, sorry. I apologize. It's 12:25 in the morning. I just really want to post this just because, I want to keep it going for people that are currently staying up to it. Anyways, so 2dim at 0, 0 is going to be equal to 3. All right. So now we have filled this slot all the way over here with 3. Cool. And so on and so forth. Pretty much you can take the same principles as this array list and apply it to this one as well. And I mean, really, arrays are amazing if you're trying to do user-based input. They access your RAM, basically, is what they're storing it in. And so this is what a lot of video games use, constantly filling up and constantly unloading arrays. All right, so that is where I'm going to leave us off with for today. I want to thank you for watching. Our next tutorial is going to be including user input and how to fill an array. So we're going to actually introduce our first loop, the for loop. Alrighty, happy crafting, you guys, and thanks very much. Bye.